welcome back to Katie on the Flip Side. We are back here for another video in this new series that I'm doing. Just a little reminder, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I have committed myself to going through this series with you guys, changing my life, helping you change your life, and sharing with you what I learn along the way. And I'm not stopping. I'm not breaking any more promises to myself. You don't want to miss anything. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit the little bell to make sure you get the notifications, and we'll be in this together. Let's go. I'm going to start off with a little story because this has been an interesting past week since the last video that you guys saw. If you saw the live stream Sunday night, I was like, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I'm trying to tell you guys some stuff because a lot of stuff is going through my head right now. Friday night, we were getting stuff packed up to head out to Tuscaloosa for the weekend. So the kids were napping. They had come home from school. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, like it always goes before you go out of town, and trying to get everybody's bags packed, trying to get the kitchen cleaned up, not leave dishes and nasty food in the sink. So Cullen had been editing all morning, but he had also been helping with some stuff, and it was getting close to time for the kids to wake up from their naps. And my goal was for us to leave as soon as they woke up because it was homecoming. We wanted to be there in time for all the festivities. So Cullen says that he needs to do a water change on the fish tank, and he's gonna need to leave and go get water, bring it back, make the water, which saltwater tank, you have to like mix it all up, do all these things. So basically something that was going to take, you know, at least an extra hour. He had said he would take Gaines when she woke up so that she would be entertained and I could still keep working on packing and doing everything else. But I found myself starting to get really mad because I was like, I wanted to leave as soon as the kids woke up. Like we had talked about this. Cullen and I have a little bit of a difference in our judgment of time frames, and neither of us is really great at managing our time. If y'all have been around for a while, you know we're always running late and time is not our best asset. We a lot of times end up getting in arguments because Cullen's like, I'm just gonna run and do this and it'll take 10 minutes. And you know, an hour later, I'm like, okay, that took forever. So I was starting to get frustrated and get mad because why all of a sudden do we need to change, like, so I'm washing dishes at the sink and I'm standing there thinking like, oh my gosh, this is just so frustrating. Like, why does this always happen? And then my brain starts to go to, if I just had everything ready sooner, and if I had packed last night, and I'm so stupid because I can't ever get anything done when I need to get it done. And I should have just done it last night, but I didn't. And I was working on other things, and I shouldn't have spent so much time on my video yesterday and responding to comments and being involved in that. And like literally down the rabbit hole of dramatic negative self-talk. So given everything that I've been talking to you guys about lately, all the things I've been mentally going through, all the books I've been listening to, like this process over the past several weeks of really just trying to dive into my mental awareness, I was like, wait, these are not good thoughts. And I know this. I know that these are not good thoughts, but I found myself thinking them. So I stopped myself. I said, just hold on, stop thinking those thoughts. And a lot of the different books I've read and different things I've been looking into, listening to, whatever, has talked a lot about gratitude. And let's just accept the things we're grateful for, which I'm always like, yeah, okay, I know I have a lot of things to be grateful for. But I didn't really realize how that can help with changing your negative thoughts. So I'm standing there and I think, okay, let's not make this about how mad I am at myself. So I started saying to myself, okay, what am I thankful for? What am I grateful for? And I thought, you know, I'm just thankful that Cullen's even here because he's able to work from home. We're able to be together. He's been helping me this morning, getting some things ready, even though he's been working, even though he wants to like take this time to get the water for the fish tank and we're going to run late. I'm thankful that I have a job that I'm able to be at home and be doing the dishes at, 12 o'clock on a Friday. I'm thankful that we have the opportunity to even go to Tuscaloosa and go to homecoming. We have these two cute kids to take with us and take them down there. And that's been something we've always dreamed about. So at this point, I'm going down the positive rabbit hole of like, positive things, grateful, everything is good. There's so many more good things. And then my brain really quickly switches back to negative and I'm like, yeah, and I'm a terrible person because I'm not grateful enough for those things. And obviously I don't appreciate them enough, or I would have been ready and I wouldn't have spent so much time on my video yesterday and I would have packed all the same stuff. And I found myself going back down that, and it just evoked this feeling over me of like, not only just I'm a terrible person, but almost like I caught myself going, okay, I feel a little more comfortable now. Like I can relax, which is weird because why would negative, horrible things about yourself make you feel comfortable, right? So I said, okay, I need to take it a little past the gratitude. And let me try to think of some positive things about myself. What do I believe right now in this moment about myself that will contradict these negative thoughts? And I said to myself, I'm trying to start this new series on my channel. I have things that I really want to share with people that I feel like are very important. And that's why I spent the time working on it yesterday. I'm doing a great job of being consistent. I did spend the time on it yesterday, but it's super important to me and I've committed to it. I said to myself, I've been dealing with a lot lately with everything that's been going on in our lives, mine and Cullen's relationships, drama of a 2-year-old and a just turned 4-year-old and their meltdowns and their issues and whatever happens with that. And literally all of a sudden I was like, in my heart, I truly believe that I am doing the best I can. And that just totally stopped me and made me go, I'm honestly doing the best I can. Like, I may have gone to bed last night without having packed anything yet or whatever else, but I was tired and I needed to sleep. I needed to rest, and it was still like midnight when I went to bed. I'd stayed up getting lunches packed and getting whatever needed to be done. So I kept pep talking myself through this, telling myself the things that I truly believed, because there were a few things I tried to think and I was like, yeah, but I don't believe that. No, I'm not good enough. I don't do enough. I wasn't ready in time. I'm never on time. And I thought, no, pick out the things that you do believe. Find some good things about yourself that you do believe. And the ones that I truly believed, I just kind of kept repeating to myself. And all of a sudden, this completely different feeling than I've felt in, I don't even know, came over me of, wow, I believe those things regardless of what anybody else says or does or tries to show me that I am less than, not good enough, whatever. And so now I'm like washing the dishes real good. I'm like, yeah, I am doing the best I can. I'm doing a good job. This is great. And then my mindset switched to, I'm doing the best I can, and Cullen's honestly doing the best he can. If going to get the water for the fish tank is important to him and it needs to be done and he thinks he can do it and time to be back for us to leave, that's his decision. That is not my decision to make. And so I took myself back to our conversation last week about how I can take care of the things I can control. I can't control whether he needs to go get fish water or whatever else, but I can control what I can control. And one of those things is my mood and my beliefs about myself. So on Sunday night at the live stream, I was talking to y'all some about confidence. And that was like the best way I could think of to describe it. Like, you have to be confident in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, believe the things you tell yourself. And I realized whenever I hear somebody say you have to be confident in yourself, I've always been like, yeah, but I mean, I don't like the way I look most of the time. I don't always think that I say the right things. I'm awkward. I don't get things done in time. All those negative thoughts that just flood your mind when you try to even say one nice thing about yourself. And I've never really understood you just have to be confident in yourself. It just has to happen. And as I thought more about it, I was like, you have to trust yourself. Like, confidence to me is just a different word, and it is kind of the same thing, but you have to trust yourself. And suddenly I found myself thinking, whether I can trust anybody else, whether anybody else keeps their promises to me, whether anybody else respects me, treats me right, treats me bad, treats me good, whatever, I have to trust myself. I have to be honest with myself. I have to take care of myself. I have to respect myself. Does this mean being high and mighty and thinking that you know everything and that you're the best of the best and everybody should bow down to you? No, not at all. It totally doesn't. I didn't realize until it came to my mind and I started observing the things I say to myself, how much negative talk I do in my head and how much I tell myself that those negative things are the things that other people are thinking of me, even if they haven't told me that. I am the primary one that isn't respecting myself. It may be true that somebody has done or said something to you that causes you to kind of think these negative thoughts, but a lot of our negative thoughts come from inside of ourselves. They come from maybe one instance where somebody said something that they didn't even mean it to be disrespectful, to be putting you down, whatever it is, but you take it, twist it, internalize it, twist it some more, turn it this way, and then all of a sudden you're the worst person in the world. So when you constantly have these negative things running through your head, you're going to put out that negative perspective. And how can you expect other people to respect you when you don't even respect yourself? And sometimes for some reason, even when you know that the thoughts aren't true, even when you know it's not helpful, it feels good to let yourself like wallow in these horrible thoughts about yourself. And why? Why would that be? And I guess the reason is because it's comfortable. It's what you know and what you've done when you're starting to feel bad, or you're getting angry, or you feel any emotion. You want to somehow feel comforted, and the only way you know how to do that is to allow yourself to believe these negative things that excuse the other behaviors that you're doing, if that makes any sense at all. I feel like I've gone through my life thinking that it's not okay to trust myself, that I should question everything I do, and that if I'm too confident or trust myself too much, then my expectations are too high and I'm gonna fail. But I'm starting to see that trusting myself and having confidence in the decisions that I'm making is all the world of difference in my perspective, in how I treat myself, and in how I treat other people. As I continued to reflect on this throughout the weekend, every different step I made, literally every decision I made, I found that every single decision that I made, every single little tiny decision, was based on what I thought somebody else would think. It's almost like, for whatever reason, throughout my life, I have felt like I can't make a decision myself, or I can't do anything because I shouldn't trust myself to make that decision. I'm talking down to like, do I need to brush my teeth now, or do I need to brush my teeth in a couple hours? Do I need to sit out in the car and film my video, or should I film my video in here? Should I drink another thing of water? Well, so-and-so said that I should, and so I probably should. Like, maybe I should ask somebody about that. I mean, y'all, I found that I was questioning every single thing I did because I didn't trust myself to make good decisions. Like, why do I think that I have no idea what the best thing is for myself when I'm the only one that can know that, because I'm the one that's like in my head and in my body and in my life. So there's this whole concept that I have recently been introduced to, and it kind of came about in a weird way. But there's several books on the topic, and some of them may be relevant for you, some of them may not. Every type of like self-help or whatever book you read, you got to kind of take what you can from it, and some of it won't apply, some of it will. So there is a book called Codependent No More. It's by Melanie Beatty, and it is actually more related to somebody who is either been raised by somebody with alcoholism, or is like married to somebody, has a spouse that they've dealt with, whatever it may be, that you've been like in some type of relationship with somebody who is an alcoholic. And she talks a lot about that in the book. A follow-up book that she wrote is called The New Codependency, and it doesn't focus on living with or being raised by or having a relationship with an addict of any kind necessarily. It's more just about codependency in general, and a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about, and that we've been talking about, you guys have been talking about it too, as far as feeling like you have to make decisions based on what somebody else thinks, feeling like you can't do anything without somebody else's approval, being a people pleaser, all of those types of things. It's really more relevant just to a broad range of situations, and I would highly recommend it. I listened to it over the past like 1 or 2 weeks, and so many things in that book were like super duper eye-opening. But the more I listened to it, the more I realized how much every single action that I make is dependent on something I think somebody else needs or wants. Or is it gonna make that person like me more? Is it going to change that person's impression of me? Should I wear these pants because Cullen said once he liked them, or should I wear these because they're comfortable and I think they look better? And who are we to make our decisions based on what somebody might think about us, instead of making the best decision based on what we feel, what we know we need, what we know is best, what we've thought about and processed and designed and outlined and planned and predicted ourselves? Like, why would those decisions all need to be made based on what we want somebody else to do or what we want somebody else to think? So making your decisions this way for yourself, based on trusting yourself, is not selfish. You have to think about what is your motivation for it. So for example, if you decide to start exercising, are you doing it because you think your husband thinks you're too fat, or because your coworker said your pants are looking kind of tight and you don't want them to think you're gaining weight? Or are you exercising because you made that decision based on the fact that you realize you're feeling a little bit sluggish, you want to be healthier, you want to do better for yourself? Are you cooking dinner because you feel like your husband thinks that you're a slacker wife and you never make dinner? Your kids probably think you're terrible because they always have to eat like macaroni and cheese and chicken nuggets. Not that this is a personal story or anything. Or are you making dinner because you want to make a good dinner, because you want to eat a good dinner, because you want to give your family and your kids and your husband the best thing that they can eat? Are you not cooking dinner because you think, well, nothing I make anybody will like, and like, well, they're not going to make this and they're not going to make that, so I'm just not even going to try? Or are you deciding, hey, I really enjoy cooking and I enjoy coming up with new things to cook, so I'm going to cook it because I want it and it's healthy, and if nobody else eats it or likes it, then that's on them. They can make their decision. They can eat something unhealthy or they can not eat. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's like the changing point that has made me be like, oh my gosh, total mental shift and change of perspective. When I trust myself to make the right decisions, when I trust that my decisions aren't selfish, that I'm doing something because I believe that I have thought it out and am making the best decision for myself, for my family, for my kids, I enjoy them more. I know to a lot of y'all this is not groundbreaking and you're like, yeah, duh. But to me, and maybe to some of y'all, this is life-changing. I found that I was literally making every single decision that I made based on what I thought somebody else wanted. And that leaves you feeling so trapped. It leaves you feeling like without somebody else's approval, you can't make a decision. Or without knowing if somebody's going to be happy, sad, mad, or angry and predicting the wrong emotion, then you're making the wrong decision. When you're doing something because you're confident in your decision and you trust yourself and you want to, when you're doing something because it's important to you, because there is some reason behind it and it has meaning in your life, it is totally different than doing something because you're worried that you'll feel guilty if you don't. You're no longer doing something because you feel like you're going to disappoint somebody if you don't do it, or because somebody is going to think badly of you if you do or don't do it. When your reason for doing the task is because you want to keep your commitment, because you trust yourself that you made the commitment because it's important to you and you believe in it, and you're confident in yourself, you will do it with a whole different joy and passion behind everything you do. So it was so interesting because this has all been transpiring like earlier in the week. And then yesterday I was listening to a book that I've also loved that was recommended by Rachel Hollis, Rachel Hollis is my new favorite person because she's amazing and so inspiring, and y'all should go follow her on all the social medias and read all her books. But she recommended a book called High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. Hope I pronounced that right. But he said, just yesterday, I was listening to his book and he starts talking about confidence in yourself and trust in yourself. And I was like, oh my God, I've just been like figuring this out and now you're talking about it. So he said, when you're more confident, you are more willing to say no and more sure of what to focus on, which makes you more efficient and less prone to distraction. And I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much more sense. When you're more confident and you trust yourself, you feel okay to say no, to set boundaries. You don't feel guilty telling people no because you believe in the reason you're saying no. You believe that doing something for yourself is healthy and it's going to make you better able to take care of other people and better able to serve other people and better able to be a good mom to your kids and not think everything that they do is just like loud and annoying. When our decisions are controlled by other people, by our negative thoughts, by all of those things, then anything can get in the way of your progress. But when you trust yourself to continue on with what you believe in doing and the commitments that you've made and not breaking a promise to yourself, then nothing can get in the way of you accomplishing what you want to accomplish. There is no reason to rely on what you think other people might think for every single decision that you make. Obviously, you want to take into account other people's feelings and other people's needs, and you're not just going to step all over everybody else's toes now because you're so confident in your decisions, but you're going to be able to take into account what you need and what's best for you and for your life. So let me just give you one quick example. As I'm going through life these past few days, every single thing that I do feels like an example of what I'm learning and how I'm changing my perspective. Last night, I took Gaines to gymnastics. I also had Brooks with me because Cullen was working, and Brooks in the bleachers of gymnastics with a bunch of people crammed up on you is quite an interesting handful that will make you want to lose your mind. But I was sitting there, I'd had on the same clothes all day, jeans and this shirt that was like kept coming unbuttoned because, you know, kept coming unbuttoned. And I was uncomfortable, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get home and change my clothes and put on some comfy pants. Well, when we pulled up, Cullen was here, and he had a fire pit set up, and he had s'mores, and the kids were so excited. It was a total surprise. Had no idea that he was going to do that. So I was super excited about this, of course, because I love s'mores, but I was also like, oh man, I really wanted to just go change clothes. And like, obviously the kids ran right to where he was. And, you know, I was like, okay, well, I need to like be out here and help with like getting the marshmallows on the things. And I was like, oh God, these pants, I just want to change my clothes. So I found myself getting frustrated, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go in and change my clothes. Like, I don't have to, but in my head, I was like, if I go in, I'm going to leave him out here with the kids, and then he's going to get frustrated, and then they're going to be like upset and all the things. And I was like, no, go change your freaking clothes. Like, what the heck? So I slipped inside. The kids didn't even notice. And I changed my clothes. I put on my comfy pants, and I took a minute. Like, I didn't rush, hurry, like trip over everything, get frustrated with everybody because I was having to hurry so much. I was like, I'm going to take 5 minutes to go inside and change my clothes. I've been with the kids all the entire day, taking care of everything that they needed. And Cullen can take 5 minutes to like watch him. He's not going to die. He's obviously didn't seem to be upset about it. And the kids were fine. So I came back out a little bit refreshed from even just having 5 minutes. As a mom, you might know that just 5 minutes sometimes of peace and quiet to change your clothes, like brush your hair and look at your phone for a minute, gives you some peace. So when I came back out, I was comfy and I was ready to have some s'mores and in a good mood. Whereas if I had just stayed out here because I thought that he would be offended if I went inside and took some time to change my clothes, if I just stayed out there, I'd have been uncomfortable and frustrated. And you know how it is when your pants are too tight, you're just annoyed with everything. So was that a selfish decision? No. Was my interpretation of what Cullen might think or might need or might do or whatever a good reason for me to not have made that decision and just stay outside in my uncomfortable clothes? No. Like, I made that decision based on what I realized I needed in that moment that wasn't going to hurt anybody else. Sometimes the self-care that everybody talks about and is promoting is not this long drawn out process of doing everything for yourself. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. Sometimes it's taking off your uncomfortable pants and putting on your sweatpants. So once I decided I was going in to change my pants, I didn't question what anybody else would think. I trusted myself that that was what I needed in that moment. So this all goes back to the making a promise to yourself part 2. Do you think you can trust yourself to keep a promise to yourself? To anybody else? Are you trustworthy? Can you trust yourself in different situations? If not, then what can you do to increase your trustworthiness to yourself? Increase your confidence. Be more confident in the decisions you're making. Don't make a promise if you know you can't keep it. Don't make a promise if it's going to stress you out. Make promises you can keep. Make decisions that are based on what you know is right. When you trust that you're making the best decisions, you will be confident. Right before I had driven up to our house and this whole thing went down, I had just heard another quote on my book from Johann von Goethe, and he says, as soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live. And hello, that is just what I was learning this week. It is so crazy how God just puts all these things together and it all comes together and speaks through so many different people and so many different circumstances. You guys, as you're going through this week, think about every single decision you make. Think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Think about whether you're doing it because it's something that you believe you should do or whether you think is going to affect somebody else, change somebody else, whatever. Leave me a comment below and let me know if this is something you have struggled with, if this is something that speaks to you. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about your struggles. I want to have a conversation with y'all about what we can do to change this, to really change our perspective and change our lives and the way we live, because it is like, ugh, it's so freeing, and it changes everything. I know this was a long one today, but I just could not share some of this stuff with y'all that I've been learning. I hope you're learning something too. I hope it's meaning something to you guys. I think I need to make some shirts or some like coffee cups or some wristbands or something to remind ourselves, trust yourself. Would y'all buy a shirt that says that? I kind of think I need one. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. That is what I'm telling myself all the time. I'm doing the best I can. I can trust myself. Y'all. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on Sunday night for a live stream around 9 o'clock Central Time. Be there. Love you guys. Thanks. Bye.